It's the story that has lingered in whispers, reshared in shadows, and left fans in stunned confusion. For years, people have wondered what really happened between gospel powerhouse Leandria Johnson and television icon Shaunie O'Neal. Was it a misunderstanding, a private moment gone public, or something far deeper, a humiliation that changed everything? At 42, Leandria has finally broken her silence, and what she revealed has left everyone speechless. This isn't just another headline or internet rumor. This is the untold truth about a night that should have been triumphant, but turned into one of the most talked about embarrassments in gospel and entertainment circles. For the first time, those closest to both women are speaking out, revealing the unspoken tension, the uncomfortable truth, and the emotional fallout that followed. It all started with an event, one meant to celebrate unity and achievement. Shaunie O'Neal, known for her elegance and influence in both reality television and ministry spaces, was hosting a private gathering to honor faith-based women making a difference in entertainment. It was a glamorous evening, red carpet lights, gospel icons mingling with Hollywood names, and cameras waiting to capture every smile. Leandria Johnson was among the night's most anticipated guests. Her voice had shaken the walls of churches and award stages alike, and despite her history of controversy, fans adored her authenticity. Everyone expected a soulful performance. What they didn't expect was the incident that would dominate whispers long after the lights went down. According to multiple sources present that night, something shifted the moment Leandria took the stage. What began as a praise-filled celebration reportedly turned tense, with murmurs of discomfort spreading through the crowd. Some claim her comments during a spontaneous speech were directed at Shaunie, others say it was a misunderstanding taken out of context. Either way, the fallout was immediate. By the next morning, the phrase Shaunie embarrassment was circulating online. Clips were shared, speculations grew wild, and both women remained silent. What really happened that night, and why has it stayed buried for so long? To understand the gravity of that night, you have to understand Leandria Johnson. She isn't your typical gospel artist. She's raw, unfiltered, and deeply human. From her viral moments of public drinking, to her emotional breakdowns on live streams, she has never hidden her struggles. That vulnerability made her beloved, but it also made her a lightning rod for controversy. Shaunie O'Neal, on the other hand, built her reputation on control and composure. As the executive producer of Basketball Wives and the First Lady to Pastor Keon Henderson, she carries herself with quiet strength and grace. So when Leandria's unpredictable energy collided with Shaunie's refined image at a high-profile faith event, it was only a matter of time before sparks flew. Insiders say tension had been brewing even before the event began. Reports suggest Leandria felt overlooked, that her contributions to gospel music weren't being recognized in the same way as others on the guest list. When she finally got her moment on stage, emotions overtook her. One source described the scene as uncomfortable but heartbreaking, like watching someone fight to be seen. With tears in her eyes, she began speaking not to the crowd, but directly toward the front row, where Shaunie was seated. What she said wasn't clear to everyone in the room, but those close enough to hear claim her words carried both pain and defiance. She said something about people in the church who judge others while hiding behind titles. One attendee revealed, and when she said it, she looked straight at Shaunie. Cameras weren't rolling, but cell phones were. A short, shaky clip surfaced later. Leandria's voice trembling as she declared, "I've been through hell and still got the anointing. Don't clap for me if you can't love me when I'm down." For some, it was a powerful testimony. For others, it felt like a public confrontation. By the time the night ended, Leandria reportedly left before the closing ceremony. Shaunie, maintaining her poise, remained seated but looked visibly uncomfortable. Within hours, blogs and gossip sites ran with the headline, "Leandria Johnson's outburst leaves Shaunie embarrassed." In the days that followed, Leandria stayed silent. No social media rants, no interviews, no clarifications. For someone known for her candidness, the silence was deafening. Fans wondered if she was ashamed, angry, or simply tired of explaining herself. Behind closed doors, sources say Leandria was deeply affected. She felt misunderstood and betrayed by how the media spun her pain into drama. She wasn't trying to embarrass anyone. a friend later explained. She was trying to express hurt, but it came out wrong. Leandria has always lived her truth publicly. She once told fans, "I'm not a perfect Christian, I'm a real one." That honesty, though admired, often made her an easy target. Her transparency about drinking, divorce, and depression clashed with the pristine image expected in the gospel industry. And that night, all of those contradictions exploded in front of the very people who had judged her the hardest. Some claim her speech was never about Shaunie personally, but about the culture of selective grace within church leadership, a cry for understanding, not conflict. But by then, the damage was done. Shaunie O'Neal never directly addressed the incident, not in interviews, not on social media. But those who know her say her silence spoke volumes. She has always believed in handling conflict privately, not publicly. At the time, Shaunie was navigating her new identity as a pastor's wife and balancing her image between faith and fame. The last thing she needed was a scandal involving a gospel singer at a church-related event. Sources close to her suggest she felt blindsided, that she didn't understand where the confrontation came from. One insider revealed, Shaunie respected Leandria's gift. She didn't expect that kind of energy in that space. It embarrassed her because it wasn't the right platform for that conversation. In the weeks after, Shaunie focused on her ministry work, posting uplifting scriptures and messages about forgiveness. Some fans took it as a subtle response, others as avoid. But one thing was clear, Shaunie was not interested in fueling the drama. Still, behind that calm exterior, friends say she was hurt. She felt attacked for something she didn't do, and unfairly cast as a villain in a story she didn't start. Once social media got involved, the truth became even harder to see. Hashtags like Shaunie embarrassment and Pray for Leandria trended briefly on Twitter. Some fans sided with Leandria, calling her brave for speaking truth to power. Others defended Shaunie, saying she didn't deserve to be disrespected in public. Videos analyzing the moment appeared on YouTube. Bloggers dissected every expression, every quote, every pause. One viral clip even claimed Leandria's microphone was intentionally muted halfway through, a claim producers later denied. In the chaos, both women found themselves at the mercy of public opinion. And perhaps that was the real embarrassment, not what happened on stage, but how quickly compassion disappeared once gossip took over. Leandria later hinted on Instagram, "Sometimes God lets you fall in public to teach folks what grace looks like." Fans believed it was her way of acknowledging the event without reigniting the fire. Months passed, but the tension lingered. Leandria retreated from major public appearances, focusing on smaller performances and ministry work. Shaunie continued her projects quietly, never referencing the night again, but industry insiders say their paths crossed again, and this time, things were different. At another event a year later, Leandria reportedly approached Shaunie privately. There were no cameras, no microphones, just two women, face to face. According to an eyewitness, Leandria apologized, explaining her emotional state that night. Shaunie, gracious as ever, accepted it. They hugged, the witness said. It was short, but real. Whatever happened before, it ended right there. That moment never made headlines, but to those who knew, it was powerful. A quiet act of forgiveness that closed a painful chapter. Digging deeper, the industry behind the incident. The truth is, the Leandria Shaunie embarrassment says more about the industry than either woman. Gospel music and faith entertainment often demand perfection from public figures who are human at best, broken at worst. Leandria has always challenged that image. Her very existence, tattoos, honesty, rough edges, pushes against the boundaries of what gospel stardom is supposed to look like. Shaunie, meanwhile, represents the polished side of faith-based leadership, poised, structured, and intentional. When those two worlds collided, it wasn't just a disagreement between women, it was a symbolic clash between two versions of faith, the raw and the refined, the real and the respectable. Maybe that's why the story refused to die. Fans weren't just watching two women, they were watching their own conflicting beliefs about what grace really means. After years of silence, Leandria finally addressed the rumors head-on during a podcast interview. With a steady voice and tears in her eyes, She said, "People called it an embarrassment, but for me, it was a wake-up call. I was hurting, and I let my emotions lead instead of my spirit. I've learned from that," she continued. "I have nothing but love for Shaunie. She didn't deserve to be dragged into my moment of weakness. If I could redo that night, I'd still sing, but I'd sing from healing, not hurt." Those words sent shockwaves across social media. Fans flooded the comments with messages of forgiveness and understanding. "This is the Leandria we love, real, raw, and redeemed," one follower wrote. It was a moment of redemption, not just for Leandria, but for everyone who had judged her without knowing the full story. Not long after that interview, Shaunie shared a subtle message on her Instagram story: "Grace wins, every time." It wasn't tagged or directed, but fans immediately connected the dots. The timing was too perfect to be coincident. The post was quickly reshared by Leandria's fans, calling it proof that both women had finally found peace. Sources close to Shaunie later confirmed she had no ill will toward Leandria. "Shaunie's all about growth," one insider. "She's seen enough drama to know what forgiveness looks like. She moved on a long time ago." That mutual closure, quiet, humble, and private, stood in stark contrast to the public chaos that had once surrounded them, and maybe that was the most powerful message of all. So what's the truth behind the so-called Shaunie embarrassment? After years of rumors, half-stories, and speculation, the real answer is simpler than anyone expected. It was never about scandal, it was about emotion, raw, unfiltered, and misunderstood. Leandria Johnson didn't set out to shame anyone. She was a woman in pain, standing on a stage where vulnerability is often punished. And Shaunie O'Neal, poised under pressure, responded with the quiet strength that defines her character. There was no lasting feud, no hidden rivalry, just a moment of human imperfection that the world turned into a spectacle. But in the end, it became a story of redemption. Leandria learned to channel her honesty into healing. Shaunie showed that forgiveness doesn't always need an audience. And together, without even meaning to, they reminded the world that even in embarrassment, there can be grace. Today, Leandria continues to sing with renewed purpose, her voice carrying the weight of lessons learned. Shaunie continues to lead with grace, her example proving that public figures can rise above gossip without bitterness. Their story, once defined by whispers, has become a quiet testament to resilience, faith, and forgiveness. Because sometimes, the most powerful moments aren't the ones caught on camera, they're the ones where two hearts choose peace over pride.